Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
Just a gown on, so God knows what everyone can see. And you're going, oh, I think someone wants the anaesthetic. Bonjour.
Great start.
Yeah, because you've just been to France.
Yeah, not there anymore though. Not there anymore.
No, of course not. That'd be too long a trip.
Too long. And I brought back something I didn't want to bring back.
Right, okay. Toblerone. No, you do want to bring that back.
Always want to bring them back.
Milka, you do want to bring that back.
Milka, absolutely. Cheese, if it can last the flight, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Any sort of French delicacies, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
But I'm struggling to think, George, of something from France I wouldn't want to bring back. You know,
well,
what a great nation.
Yeah, for food and culture. Here's something you don't want to bring back: an abscess. Ooh. What is an abscess, you ask? I didn't really know until yesterday. I found out, though, the hard way. So I'd been in France, I got back, and I had some bites, you know. I had some bites on my head.
I mean,
Mosquito
you're
bites.
outside.
I'm outside a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I didn't use any of that bite spray, you know, that repels them, even though everyone was doing it, and I was like, I'll be all right. And you get home and you go, ooh, should have used that. But there was one on my armpit, and I was like, it's quite big, actually. This is surprisingly big.
Chunky little fuckers had a good old gnaw.
It was like a grape, basically, right?
Wow.
So yesterday I went, I'm going to pop to the pharmacy, you know, because I'd been feeling feverish as well. From Saturday night, I felt very feverish. I was sweaty, headachy, lethargic. And it didn't help Sunday because I had a festival gig and I was basically fucked, but had to do it. And Monday morning, I was thinking, I'm not in a good way. I'm not, but I'll pop to the pharmacy, say, have you got any cream or anything for that? I said it to the pharmacist, and she said, oh my God, no, you need to go to A&E right now. And I was like, oh shit, maybe it's worse than I thought. So I turn up to A&E.
Do you mean now? Because I am busy.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
When you say now, how do you mean now? Or like tomorrow?
Or like at A&E now, or, you know, because you guys take your time. So I get to A&E, and they go, right, we're going to send you... Oh, God, it's just... I'll try and condense it. But you go to one room in A&E, and then they go, right, yeah, that looks bad. We're going to send you to the urgent treatment centre. So they send you across the way to the urgent bit, and the guy says, yeah, that's pretty fucked. Antibiotics isn't going to do the job. You're going to have that drained. And I went, oh, you know... And then, right, this is the bad bit. Well, not the bad bit. The whole day was bad. He said, just go back to A&E and they'll call you. So I was sat in A&E for ages, you know. And after a while, I was thinking, have they forgot about me? But, you know, it's A&E. You know, it takes forever. You know, waiting time could be 4-6 hours. And I went up and asked. I said, hey, what's going on? You know. And they were like, oh, you're in the wrong bit. You're not meant to be here. You're meant to be in SAU. And I was like, right, where is that, you know? And they said, go and ask that nurse. I'm like, well, why have I got to do the admin? So I went up to this nurse and said, hi, where's SAU? She's like, what do you want to know? I'm like, what's... Because someone's told me, what the fuck? I'm not... Who's you... Right. And then she found out I was meant to be there. So I went there. And then, anyway, I'll try and do long story short, because it was just like, I kept having to be like, hey, I'm meant to be here for this thing. Like, oh, we haven't got any notes on that. I'm like, can someone just drain this fucker? So anyway, finally, I got in, saw a doctor. I'd been there 8 hours. And this isn't me having a rant about NHS, but it was more like, come on, because it's weird and I don't want to get into that controversial topic, you know, because I think everyone there had the same vibe of, I don't want to be that person that complains about the waiting times, but at the same time, why is it whenever I ask, what's the latest, you've all forgotten that I'm even here? Because it wasn't just me, you know? So anyway, I finally got to see a doctor at 8 p.m. and I got there at midday. And he said, "Oh, do you want some local anaesthetic?" And I was like, "Nah, I'll be all right." And he went, "No, you're gonna have some because this is gonna hurt."
Don't ask me then. Don't ask me then.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
You've given me opportunity to prove how hard I am, and then you've gone, nah, you're not. You're not hard. Yeah, well, you don't know because 3 gigs in 24 hours. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, he starts stabbing me with stuff, and then I start feeling like I'm gonna faint, and I'd already felt like I was gonna faint that day in the waiting room, and I had to go outside and just put my legs in the air because there's no one about, and I didn't want to. I know it sounds silly, but I was so British, I didn't want to go, "Sorry, I feel faint. Can someone help?" So I went, "I'm on my own here." So I was laying outside
in the place designed to help.
Yeah, literally, there was no one in that bit. So I was just laying there with my legs in the air. No one noticed because there was a guy about 10 feet away from me being sick, and then there was another person who was literally in handcuffs who'd been brought in, as a prisoner, and he was gloating about how many people he'd murdered. It was fucking chaos around it. Like, it was just like, you get to see, like, if you stay in A&E for long enough, the people that you meet, my God. But anyway, so I started to feel faint again. I felt embarrassed about it. I was like, "I'm sorry, doc. I am going to pass out. Can I just lay down?" And then he starts joking. He was like, "I guess you needed that local anaesthetic, didn't you? Because you wouldn't have lasted the pain." I'm like, "Yeah, all right. Just fucking drain it." And then he was having to like...
I hate the wisecrack. The wisecrack in a situation that doesn't need...
Yeah, I'm topless. I nearly passed out. And
I've
you're
been lying
about
outside with a murderer with my legs in the air. Just a gown on, so God knows what everyone can see. And you're going, "Oh, I think someone wants the anaesthetic."
Exactly. So anyway, then he starts draining this thing. I thought it'd be quick. I thought it'd be like popping a spot. It took about 15 minutes, and he's just like pressing down, and I was like, "What are you getting out?" At one point, and it's like in my armpit, and I looked around at one point, and I shouldn't have looked. It was the most blood I've ever seen. I was like, "Fucking hell," And and he finally got it finished, cleaned it up, sent me on my way with this very much bandage up armpit. I think I need to take that dressing off. I'll do it after we've done the podcast. But yeah, mental day. But to say, basically, in a nutshell, I woke up thinking I had COVID or something, because I had all the symptoms. I was like feverish, lethargic, all that stuff. And I was just going to pop to the pharmacy and get a COVID test. And then my friend was like, "Hey, what about that big bite?" She was like, "Maybe that's related." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll ask." Almost like as an afterthought. And then the doctor was like, "Oh, yeah, that's why you're feeling feverish.
Can I get some aspirin?" Sure. Oh, by the way, just before I leave, what's that? Fucking hell, mate.
Yeah, well, that was it. Every doctor went, "Okay, wow, okay, that is big." It was like bigger than a grape. It's more like a gooseberry, probably.
Okay.
Or like a just under the size. I'd say a golf ball size fucking lump. So no wonder it took a while to squeeze it all out. But yeah, mental day. Yeah. So there you go. That's that. After a long week, I had to do that. So
did they give you any possible cause? Like what happened? Why does that?
Well, I asked. He was like, I said, "Is it like a bite?" And he said, "Yeah, it could be that." He said it could even be just a hair, like an ingrown hair. I was like, "Really?" I was thinking, right, from now on, I'm going to shave my armpits, because I'm not doing that again. But I thought, my God, I always thought like I had quite a good, I don't know what the word is. Oh, I got it in my head. I don't know. I'll just say, what's the word? Where your body is good at stuff and can keep up good health, dexterity,
natural immune system.
Yeah, let's go with that. But it
you got
could
a
have
good
been
way, a good way about you.
Yeah, it's definitely not the word, but that'll do. But it could have been a fucking hair that brought me down, I nearly passed out twice in a day from an ingrown hair. So, make of that what you will. But, yeah, mad day. So that was after a long week. So, start there and then we'll go backwards. But, yeah, how was your weekend?
Yeah, good. I mean, I'll keep it medical themed. Why not? Let's keep the conversation medical. This is Doctor and Doctora.
Yep.
That's
good, clever.
Yeah, very clever. So those who follow the old Instagram will have probably seen already, but I had the results of my MRI scan on the old back, innit?
Yeah.
I went in to see my doc, and I was like, "What's the beef? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And so he had the pictures up on the screen. And when I first met him, he was like, hopefully it's just one of your discs in your lower lumbar. That's a bit fucked. We give you a steroid injection, see how that goes. Or we could look to, have disc replacement surgery or whatever. Whip it out, replace it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I went in. So you've got 5 discs in your lower lumbar.
Yep.
And he was like, 4 of yours are fucked. So it's not great.
Yeah.
Not great. And he showed me the picture. And the discs are meant to look white. That's means they've got liquid in them. And they're all good and spongy. And 4 of my 5 lower ones are just black.
Wow.
Yeah, so... but he said, so the options are, we've come up with a plan, which is good. So 1st of August, I'm having an epidural steroid injection.
Nice.
Into my lower back. And that should hopefully help things. It might solve everything. It might solve it for a bit, or it might not really do anything. Mm-hmm. But because of the summer of gigs, building the studio and going to Vegas in September, the plan is have an injection now, see how it goes, maybe have a top up before Vegas, and then depending on how that goes, if it doesn't really work, we'll look at surgery maybe, but that'll be for 2026. But he was like, the MRI scan, so you can show. He said it shows me where the problems are, but it doesn't show me where the pain is.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we do go to surgery, he's like, you don't have to do surgery. He said, first you have to have a discography, which I thought...
Clever, yeah.
Clever, yeah. Yeah, because musician,
Yeah.
Is it really called that, or are you just having a laugh? It's called a guitaroscopy. And then we do a drumolopolopy, and a bit of a bass logolopolopy.
Yeah. Great.
So I've just been joined by my cat.
No, I just saw your cat in the background. It threw me off a little bit.
Hello. Where he's like, it's not a fun day out, I'll be honest.
No.
Where they inject some sort of dye into the discs of the spine, and they can see where the leakage is or whatever. And he's like, and basically we just have to jab your discs, and you tell us where the pain is.
Wow.
And then he's like, let me know which ones are painful, and then which ones we can replace. So, yeah, I've got a lovely couple of pictures of the inside of my body. I've also got an annular tear or something's bulging out, which is that's what's clearly affecting the nervous system and all that and stuff. So, in general, bit fucked.
Yeah.
But we have a plan. We move on.
Well, this is it. As you say, at least you've got a plan. At least you know there's something. Because I remember you saying that before. It was like, even just knowing, okay, right.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
Probably the same, isn't it? If you're going, what is it? It's a golf ball, a grape, an Easter egg?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a cyst, mate. We want to get that drained. Give us 8 hours. We'll get it done.
Yes, is it. Yes. This is it. Yeah. Well, yeah, great. Fantastic. Did you tell him then? Did you say, I'm going to Vegas, so can we do it afterwards? Or did he did he ask have you got plans or like?
Yeah, I think he said timeline, we'll get the first one done. And then, I don't really know, but I just say looking at surgery, I said, I am getting married later this year. And he's like, oh, well, okay. He said, because I said I'd quite like to try the injection first, see how that gets on. And then he was like, well, we can do that pretty soon, see how that works. It's like, it might do nothing, it might help loads. And then if it's wearing off a bit or you need another one, we can get one in before Vegas. And then because it was like, I don't really want surgery this year. Quite a lot going on.
I was just going to say, what's the recovery time on the surgery?
He said, when I first met with him and said about it, he said, oh, you can be back drumming in a week.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so, not that I don't trust him, but I'll probably schedule it for a period where I don't have a gig.
Yeah.
In a week's time.
Well, that'd be easy for you then. What do you have, 3 gigs a year or something? Loser. No, I'm joking. Well, great.
But,
I'm glad it's all on the,
Yeah, and I think, for those who did see the Instagram post, I think that does rule me out of the World Cup next year.
Yeah.
Because you always think you've got a game in you for England, know, and turning 40. I mean, Ronaldo's still playing. You think I've not been picked yet,
no,
but I can't rule it out.
No,
but I think this does now rule me out. So I'm stepping away. I don't want to give Tuchel a tough decision and give it to a younger squad player. So I bow out graciously.
Well, good.
So
I'm glad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Should we talk about gigs and stuff?
Yeah, go on then. I'll go through my mad weekend. I just had a very subtle look whilst you started talking about your back, and I was trying to work out if we talked about gigs from the weekend before, or not. I don't even know what date we're on anymore.
We last recorded on the 24th of June, mate.
Did we?
Yeah. Okay. Because we did because you were going to France.
Yeah, we did. Okay, well, I said no to someone the other day. How about that?
Oh!
Yeah. I did a audition for a band, and they were quite cool. Quite a cool group. I hope they don't listen. But I just thought, you know what? No, I'm not gonna add this to my list of stuff.
Okay, right. So, covers band, function band,
original band.
Original band. Okay.
Well, this is it. I like the idea. I want to get back into an original band again because I do a lot of function stuff and I'm doing more tribute stuff, and that's all great, and I love it. But I like the idea of being an original band. You know, it's a different avenue. It's what everyone wants to do, really. That's the goal. That's why you get into it, I think. And yeah, I got offered, to be a drummer for this thing. Said come along to an audition. It wasn't even an audition. It was, just sort of come and have a jam with us, and it was cool. It was I don't know how to describe their sound. It was sort of.
So how did they get in touch with you then?
Well, CrossFit, baby. So there was a woman at CrossFit called Lizzie, and she's a singer, and she does the Pizza Express gigs quite a lot. It's like a place in London. And she'd sung in this band before, and she heard I was a drummer, and she said, "Oh, I've got a friend who he's a drummer for this band." But it was sort of like,
isn't it funny? Can I just interject? Isn't it funny how that most musicians know the Pizza Express in London?
Yeah.
Does live music.
Exactly.
You think of iconic venues, the O2, Ronnie Scott's, the 100 Club, Pizza Express. Yeah. And everyone goes,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And no one finds it like amusing. No one goes,
no,
you're
it's
playing
just everyone
knows,
that's everyone, on the circuit.
It's almost like the opposite. They go, wow, you're doing Pizza Express. That's quite a...
Pizza Hut would be different.
Yeah. McDonald's.
We playing Pizza Express. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
That one in London. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
You play the one in Guildford or Woking, Prince Andrew's watching. Different story, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a very different story. Yeah. Was that the one where he
I think it was in Woking, yeah.
I had Salisbury in my head, but I think I was thinking of the poisoning.
That's the old poisoning. Drop.
Poison place.
Yum.
My parents love going to Salisbury, if you're listening. They're always there. And I'm like, is it like, because it's a historical place now? I don't know. After the poisoning. Anyway, I'll just kind of rattle through it quick. It was, they're a great band, but it kind of felt like I don't think it's going to go anywhere quickly. It's kind of like, well, we'll see how we get on, and hopefully maybe we'll do like a festival next year. And I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be in a band, I want to either be in one that's sort of getting or is somewhere already, or be in a band that I'm like, wow, this is exactly my kind of music. Like with Ren or something, where it's just kind of like, she does like one gig a year, but I'm always like, fuck yeah, this is great, So I actually had part of me was like, they said, oh, do you want to be the drummer? And there was that little old bit of me that would be like, oh yeah, say yes, because you'll make them happy, And I was like, no, actually. And I think I pissed the guy off. He was like, oh, okay, do you know any other drummers? And I was like, yeah, I'll let you know. But I don't think I will. But I hope he's not listening. But yeah, they're all lovely people. But it was just kind of like, I don't want to be in something that's trying to start from the ground up that isn't my thing, So anyway,
where do you want to jump in? You want to jump in at like Hamilton Apollo, isn't it?
Yeah. Brixton Academy would be nice.
Pizza Express.
If I could jump in at a Pizza Express.
If I could jump in at Zizzy's. If I could jump in at.
Yeah.
Well, I think that needs to be a new scale of band level. What restaurant are they in? This band are only Frankie and Benny's.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for me.
No, exactly.
I need Carluccio's or higher. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Or if you live in Brighton, Fata Romano,
Of course.
Anyway, so then I didn't talk about it. At the end of that week, I had a gig with Francis in Southampton at some, I think it was a naval place, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It was like some social club. It was very strange, very bizarre, very Phoenix Nights. They kept thanking us profusely. Oh, thank you so much for doing this. And I was like, you're aware that you're paying us, right? And it was a very odd gig.
Thank you so much because no one wants to do it.
Yeah. yeah. There's a bit of that. Let's talk about, I'm going to very quickly try and talk about my weekend with Tim Love. I had 3 gigs of Tim Love.
Mr. Loverboy.
In 24 hours. So Saturday, I woke up, whatever time, drove up to Tim Love's, got there for midday, and then we had a gig, get this, at Croydon Primary School.
Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. The primary school fete. And I'm thinking, well, this is going to be dire. And it was. But for whatever reason, the fee was a function fee, you know? For an hour's gig, $2.50. And we turned up at 1 p.m. And there was 4 acts on at this primary school fete. So they had a band from Brighton with the Technicolor function band or something. They were on at 4:30. And then we were on at 1. And then there was 2 acts in between. There was like a magician and then like a dancer or something. Apparently they had like $3,000 to spend on entertainment for a primary school fete. Like, this is this is exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking mental money. But
they had their own little back to the beginning Ozfest thing.
Yeah.
Little fete, 4 bands, rotating stages, super group.
Exactly. But so we played, we did an hour, then, you know, got out of there, and then we went up to Stevenage, I think. I want to say Stevenage, above London. Is that right?
Yeah,
to the Stevenage football ground, and then played a gig there in the evening. Once again with Tim Love and also Chris, and that was a pretty good gig. It's one of those gigs that starts quite shit. You know, you can tell people they were chatting and eating and kind of like, oh, for fuck's, why is this so loud? I can't hear myself. And then it gets to the end of the gig, everyone's dancing, and then you finish playing. They're like, what? I want more. And like, we've been playing since 8, you know, you should have got here earlier. So yeah, then I got home Saturday night and I was like, oh, I'm feeling a bit, I felt rough on the drive home.
So this is the start of
This is the start, you know, and I was feverish.
Cyst fever.
Yeah, and I got to bed and I was like, oh, I am feeling rough. And I felt sweaty and headachy and stuff. I woke up Sunday morning and I knew I had to get to Hawley Gatwick area where we were all meeting at 9:30.
M23.
Yeah, and I was like, I feel so shit, you know, and but I have to go because we've got this fezzy, you know. So I woke up.
Is that what they call it now these days? Fezzies.
That's what I just called it for a laugh. But I hate. As
let's
soon as
stop
I did
that.
it, as soon as I did it, I hated it. Do you, right? Have I ever told you my gripe with when people say I've got tour? That fucks me off more than anything in the world. When people say, rather than saying I'm going on tour, people say I've got tour. Hate it. Hate it so much.
I've never heard that, thankfully.
I'm pretty sure you've said it before, but it's okay. I feel like
I would never say that.
I swear you've said I've got tour that week.
I'd have said a tour.
Yeah. See,
I'd
a
have
tour's
definitely
okay.
said a tour.
Yeah.
I promise you now, I would never say I've got tour.
Yeah, well,
because
I'm glad.
with you on it.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a certain group of fucking guys that do that. They go, oh, I've got tour that week. And I was like, sorry, what? Do you mean I've got a tour or you're going on tour? Don't say that. It's not a verb. Anyway, that was my little gripe. Anyone listening, don't fucking say that, you fucking monks.
Gripe in the brain, grape on the pit. That's the George Pickering way.
Or gripe on the brain, grape to be drained. Nah, it doesn't work. But it sort of works.
It's nearly there.
Yeah, it's brain and drained.
We'll see where we get by next week.
We'll snowball it. Yeah. So anyway, I woke up.
I've got cyst. Do you know what I mean? No, you've got a cyst.
Yeah.
You've got a cyst.
Yeah.
Doc, we got cyst. No, I'm not serving you. 8 hours. Sit down.
All right, Doc, can I get drained? What? Oh, no, that's what. Can I get drain? What? Can you get it drained? Yes, I can do that. What? Are we in a rush? Why are you saying I've got tour? Right. Anyway, so I woke up, got up to Gatwick, and I'm feeling rough. But I'm like power through. I was like, do you know what? I'm probably just knackered from my fucking mad week.
Been a busy boy, yeah.
Because just to backtrack a little bit, but I when I got back from France, the flight was delayed on my way back. So I was meant to get back Wednesday night, and then the flight
Looked like quite a long delay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
How long?
Well, we got to the airport. Flight was meant to be at 10:30 at night, which meant I could have got a train back from Gatwick. And then it got delayed till 1 a.m. Found this out when we were in Bordeaux drinking wine at about 7 p.m. Then it said it's delayed till 5:45 in the morning. We were like, fuck. And we were thinking, like, are they going to put us all on the plane and then just wait there, you know? And then we didn't really know what was going to happen. We didn't know if it would be 6 a.m. because it kept changing from 6 a.m. till 1 a.m. And then, anyway, we got back. It did eventually leave at 1 a.m. We got back to England about 1:30 because, like, time zone or whatever. And then got a taxi back with two people who actually, funnily enough, from the event lived near mine. So we just shared a taxi, but I got in at 3. But then after that, I had to wake up at 8 a.m. to go to rehearsal with the Laney lot. So it was like every night that week I'd had like 4 hours sleep.
Full on, yeah.
It's full on. So I was
busy
thinking,
little boy.
maybe I'm just tired, you know? So anyway,
Yeah.
Sunday. So I get there. So I get in the van, just go, all right, let's just relax. I'm in the van. I'll chat to Georgie. You know, this is all good. And then bang. Did I tell you about the tyre?
I saw it on your Instagram.
Yeah.
That's how we all communicate these days.
So the
We do not need to say a word.
No.
We tell our stories through reels.
So we're getting close to the gig, and tyre feels a bit flat, you know. And we look, and it's smoking. We're like, okay, let's pull over, you know. And we didn't have the tools. This is a new van Ben had bought, and there were certain tools that we needed that weren't there. And we were about 5 miles from the gig, and he goes, well, let me just pump it up. Let's see if we can get enough air in it, and then we can just carry on driving. And we drove for about a minute, and then it was just like more smoke, and I could see bits of the tyre flying, and it was like, oh my God, stop, you know. So anyway, we were meant to be on at 1:45 at this festival, and it was 11:45, and we were stood at the side of the road looking at this fuck tyre going, I don't think we're going to make our slot. So we had to call the festival. Someone from the festival had to come down. They had to fix the tyre. We called the police as well. They never showed up. Anyway, we got back on the road. We got to the festival. I think they put on someone else, and then we managed to do our set. I think we were only like 15 minutes late. I think we went on like 1 or something. It was fine. It was rushed again, as they always are. You know, it's sort of like get on. There's no sound check. I think this was the first one that was like we were told we'd get a sound check, but we turned up so late. It was just like plug in.
The irony.
Play. Yeah, exactly.
Where are they? We've given them a full hour to sound check. We've got 5 sound techs waiting.
Yeah.
We have Maiden's Fair laden with beverages and snacks.
Yeah, this is it.
And they're not even here.
Exactly.
Pathetic. That's the last time we ever give them a sound check.
I know, literally. So we played our set. One notable feature that made it better was I played to click the whole time. It was my first time trying that. I was like, I'm going to try playing to click. And it made it much better because go on. What?
So what, you just you want to click, no
just
track?
Me on a click, because some of the songs are so slow that I feel like when you play, especially on a stage like that, and you're banging into different songs, if you come in 5 BPM too quick, it is noticeable, and it's harder for the singer to get the words out. Or if you go in too slow, it's like it sounds weird and sluggish, you know. Yeah. So I was like, well, let's just put on it. So
how are you running that then?
Very easily, I just have my iPad with the charts, and then I just have a metronome, and then just put my in-ears in, and then I've still got a floor monitor, and I can hear it through that. But then I've also got like the Shure SC21, so I can hear everything. You know, I got click and the monitor. But that was good. That made it better. But anyway, we did the gig. Gig was good. And then afterwards, we get off stage, we start getting our stuff off, and then a woman comes up to us, the stage manager or whatever, and she goes, guys, you need to get off stage right now because there's a lightning warning. We were like, what? And they were like, yeah, there's a storm coming, and we're worried there's going to be some lightning. We're like, oh, shit, okay. So we get off, And then we have to wait a bit, and then they go, okay, quickly get your stuff off, and then go and wait over there. And then we were like, okay. And so then we went and got some food, and then we see these clouds coming, and we're like, oh, it's starting to look a bit stormy, you know. And then we hear over the tannoy, hello, ladies and gentlemen, due to the storm, we are now asking you to evacuate the site. And we were like, oh, shit. So everyone at this festival had to just leave. They just
Where was it? Florida?
Yeah, that was Margate. So then they just took everyone off the site. So then we had to just all leave because, you know, it was fun day. And I was thinking, fucking hell, if they cancel this festival, we'll be the only band that's played all day. You know, we're essentially the headline act at 1 p.m.
Always got to look up, innit? Find a positive.
This is it. And we felt bad for the band that were on afterwards because we pushed them back or whatever. And it was just like, you know, it'd be funny if we turn up late.
Them.
Yeah, and then steal their slot. But this is it. But then it managed to get sorted. But by that time, I was just fucked because of my cyst. But I didn't know it was that. So I was just, when we were evacuated, everyone was like, hey, let's all chat about stuff. And I was like, I'm going to lay down if that's okay. You know, so I'm just laying down on some grass. And then I slept the whole way back.
At that point, doing the gig, how big was your...
Good question. It was as big as it got. And
was it painful?
It was painful to lift. It still is painful to lift my arm, but wrist, it's fine, baby.
All wrist, baby.
All wrist, baby.
Do you remember wrists?
Do you remember wrist?
There was a guy who was so big, the only way he could play drums was pure wrist.
But we
couldn't move his torso.
Obviously, as a drummer, technique should be wrist, but it was like, we literally mean like his arms wouldn't move. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine like a big potato and then just put a couple of little flappy things on the side. It was like that. Yeah.
Poor
we used
guy.
to call him wrists.
We did call him wrists. Yeah. We had a lot of good nicknames. When can we do the nicknames? You said when you close your studio, we could go for the nicknames of all your clients.
Well, we'll do it another time.
We'll wait.
What do you want to do? Do you want to finish up there, or do you want one little story where I nearly lost my shit?
I want to hear your story. I mean, how long have we been going?
Well, we've been going half an hour.
I want to hear what you've had over your weekend.
Because there's other things I want to talk. You know, we haven't even talked about Glastonbury. We haven't talked about that.
We could do another episode. Why don't we just... How long have you got?
Well, no. We'll do another one for next week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Week. Yeah.
Don't have to record it now. Fuck that. No. We'll do another one. We can move stuff on to next.
Oh, okay.
Next episode. Yeah.
It'd be quite good to talk about Oasis as well.
Yeah. Maybe next week we'll do a gig.
Yeah. Oasis, Sabbath,
Lana Del Rey. Because I went to London, not to watch Lana Del Rey.
I was going to say,
but you can tell there was a lot of Lana Del Rey fans. We were like, "What's going on?" There's a lot of Lana Del Rey. There's a lot of teenage girls in cowboy boots just wandering around central London.
Yeah,
look it up. Lana Del Rey's playing Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, well done, Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Let's hear about how you lost your shit at least.
Well, nearly lost my shit. So I had a freshman year gig. Just north of Birmingham. It's a couple of weeks ago now. And you know how it goes. We have a zone array sound ceiling. You have to plug into our sound ceiling because of noise. We have really bad noise restrictions, you know, that sort of thing. So you don't take your speakers or sub. You plug into them and they always sound bollocks. They just sound shit.
Yeah.
You know, they sound shit. And it said, you know, no amplifiers. Again, that's... You'd have seen that before. So you just have to all DI through pedals into the desk. And it said, electric drum kit must be used. Yeah. And I took it and it said, we have a electric drum kit in-house.
Oh, okay.
And I took that to mean you have to use electric drum kit. If you don't have one, there's no excuse because we have one.
Right.
You can use. And it was like the Roland... KT.
Oh, so they actually said they listed what they had.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like it's not awful. Like it was the Roland TK17 or whatever.
No,
like,
I was just checking. It wasn't like because at the moment it sounds like it was a kind of vague. It could have gone one way or the other. Like electric drum kit must be used, and it's like, does that mean they've got one, or does that mean we need? No,
it said we have one.
It actually said
we have
okay,
one.
We have one. Right, okay.
It's this model. But I took it to mean that, like, obviously not every drummer has an electric kit. And they are so intent on their sound restrictions that they're going, if you if you haven't got one, we've got one you could use.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we do the 3.5 hour drive up to north of Birmingham, where it was, and it's in a teepee. And it's like, well, that's not helping your sound, is it?
No.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, you know, have you heard of bricks?
Yeah. Mortar. Yeah.
Yeah. Waddle. Daub and waddle, whatever it's called. And so we go in, and there's the dance floor, and like, for a teepee, my bag actually had a hard floor. Because if there's one thing I hate, it's playing on the grass. Uneven ground. Yeah. And there it was, sound ceiling, and where the band was setting up, there was this Roland kit, you know, and it's on a rack, and it just is all hobbled together. It wasn't set up in any decent way.
Had you bought your kit?
Yes.
Right.
So I thought, I got a full electric kit, baby.
Yeah.
$3,000. Rock and roll, baby. I got my $3,000 full electric kit. This is why I bought it. It doesn't matter what gig I'm on. I can bring this baby, set it up, you know, and I'm all good.
Yeah.
And someone from the venue came over and like, oh, you know about this thing? Yeah. And she said, and there's the electric drum kit. I said, oh, it's okay. I bought my own.
Yeah.
She said, no, you have to use ours.
Right.
I said, oh. I said, no. So I haven't got a real kit. I said, I've got an electric kit with me. Like, no, you have to use ours because of the sound restrictions. No, I was like, no, I get it. I don't have a real kit with me. I don't know. It's not going to be any louder. It's going to be exact same volume. It's going to be exact same volume. Yeah. If a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
Really, because of the better pads,
because I can turn up and down and stuff. Yeah.
And then she went, no, you have to use ours because it's plugged into our system. No, the kit isn't plugged into your system. Yeah. Whichever kit will be plugged into our mixing desk, which will then go through your system. No, I'm really sorry. You have to. I was like, what? She was like, what? She went, why do you want to use yours?
Yeah.
I said, well, it's better.
Yeah.
I said, that's an okay electric kit, but mine's better. I can get things positioned exactly where I want. Like the drums are bigger.
Yeah. I said, why do you want to wear your shoes? Why don't you wear fucking size 14 clogs and see how you get on with them?
And I said to her, I can guarantee you it won't make any more noise on that one.
Yeah.
Like, it's exactly the same. It's the same manufacturer. It's it's a full electric kit. Yeah. Now you got to use ours.
It's mental.
Yeah, absolutely mental.
Wow.
And then I think I might have said I said, you know, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and then I just got. She's doing her job. She's doing her job, right? And they must get shit all the time. I'd understand it if I was like, oh, but I got my real drum kit with me.
Yeah.
No, you got to use this one. I get it. You have to use electric. And she said, oh, it's in our license. You have to use our kit.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Electric kit, that's fine. Yeah. And I have an electric kit with me, and it's better. And as I said, like the sounds on it are going to be better.
Yeah.
And I said, there's what budget, and then I thought, oh, they're not. She's not going to. The trouble is, what I don't like is the dismissal through ignorance.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't expect her to know the ins and outs of electric drum kits and sound.
No.
But this kit, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. It's just computer says no. And then I kind of got a bit sarky. And because it's on a rack and that, it's just hard to position things where you want. I went, can I change the stands?
Yeah.
So, what's that? And I said, right, you see this metal thing here, holding this cymbal, this rubber thing on the top, right? Maybe I shouldn't have been like this, but
yeah.
I said, so I can't really get that where I want it because I'm really tall. Yeah. So I said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bit off. I'm not changing it. I'm going to take this metal thing down. I'm going to bring in another metal thing. Doesn't affect the sound. Isn't a sound thing. And I'm going to put that rubber thing back on top and I could just get it where I want it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, but you have to put it back exactly how it was when I got here.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to put exactly how it was when I got here because no drummer can play this unless you're a fucking octopus.
Yeah.
Fuck you! Anyway, it was the sound ceiling system had a built-in compressor and limiter. So rather than I don't mean a limiter that cuts the sound off if you go too loud, like a limiter that squashes audio, right? And it was that took effect so early on when you were doing the sound. The speaker system, it was the worst sounding speaker system I've ever heard.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Even Neil was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This is awful. I think we need to talk to the bride and groom.
Yeah.
And be like, this is.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm playing through the kit. The kit doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
But it's not as good as sounds as.
No, of course not.
But it just sounds so shit. And it's so quiet. I went out the front and Neil was playing the kit because I wanted to hear what it sounded like. And at full volume, you could hear the pads of the kit being hit. And we're like, this is awful. This is. Yeah. And it's that thing. It's like, okay, like we played really well. Like we're professionals. We played well. I did use the kit. I did bring some stands in just so I could get things positioned as best I could. And we played well. In-ears sounded okay. But I sounded absolute dog shit on the dance floor, right?
Yeah.
Now, fair play. The client, the couple and the friends had a good time and enjoyed it. So, job done, really.
Did you talk to them and say it might sound shit?
Only just said, just to let you know, this is really quiet. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
You know, we thought we'd see how it go, and they all enjoyed it, and they all, you know, a lot of people danced. The clients were very happy. So
hopefully they might have been almost aware. Maybe if the venue told them there is a noise.
I mean, I guess
I don't know.
it's that thing. I guess the venues, you know, would have told them their sound restrictions and stuff, but in a lot of ways, like the clients aren't going to care about the intricacies of sound quality and EQ and shit like we do. You know.
Yeah.
But you can't help feel bad that we whilst we're playing really well, you can't help it feel bad. But this is dog shit. This sounds dog shit. But we thought we'd say something. But the clients enjoyed themselves. So because a lot of people don't view music like we do. They just view music as a form of entertainment.
Exactly.
It was their wedding day. They had some drinks and they had a dance and they liked the songs we played. So that's all you can do, really.
Yeah.
But I hate the injustice for ignorance, where it's like, you do not know what you're talking about and you're making my life worse for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't understand this. So I was like, I could argue more about the kit, but it's pointless. It's pointless. Because she doesn't understand anything about it. I don't expect it to.
Yeah.
But also you do think, well, maybe you should have some understanding.
Yeah.
But it's like you've just been sold snake oil. This speaker system probably cost you 15 grand. It's absolute horse shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I was fired up.
I bet you were. Yeah. I bet you were.
It's just like, doesn't make a difference. And it's like, why don't you give a guitar to the guitarist to play?
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
Or as you said, shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got quiet shoes on,
so
please.
Weird,
We've got to keep the noise down.
Well, that's it. Yeah, in her...
Build a fucking wall and fuck off.
Yeah.
Never going there again.
In her head, she's gone, a different drum kit means louder. That's as simple as it is for her.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Because some bands will have turned up with an acoustic kit.
Yeah.
You know, and she's fully paranoid about volume sound restrictions. But I firmly believe that venue should not have bands.
Yeah. I almost am at a point now, and I think I am, where if I get offered a gig and it's electric kit, I might just say no. I've never enjoyed them. You know, where it's like you have to be. There was a few that I did last year, and it was, you know, electric kit gigs, and it's just, I think maybe because I'm not playing a good electric kit, but it does.
A huge difference.
Yeah, a huge difference. But it does.
Because I've just done 4 on a bounce with using my full electric.
Yeah.
Full electric, and some of them I probably didn't need to, but I was doing sound as well. And this is what I did, right? This is a little genius. I had a gig on the weekend, no sound limiter, but what I'd learned from a few weeks before, because it's hard for me to do sound while sat behind the drum kit, right? But I can control the internal dynamics of my kit myself in my Roland. So I set up and then I turn the speakers towards me, and then just for ease, I just run the kit out as a stereo. Just a stereo master, right? Into a stereo channel. So no separate kick and snare like normal. And I just turn it towards me and I play the drums, and then I do like, the floor tom's a bit loud, I'll turn that down on my Roland and get the kit level, and then I can just send it out front as just one thing.
Nice.
But playing, and part of me is a bit like, I want to play a real kit or do the hybrid thing. But for ease of setting up a sound check, it's just easier.
Yeah.
But I was playing on Saturday and I was like, this is really good. Like, this Roland kit is really good. I just don't feel like I'm playing electric kit.
Well, yeah, there you go then. Yeah.
And that makes such a huge... I was actually like, quite enjoyed it in a way. Rather than being like, but I've got to play electric kit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this is like, this is great.
Yeah,
Sounds really good. It's everything's positioned exactly. The bigger drums, full setup, so you don't look like a dick.
Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference, and that's why I wanted to get it. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to get. I wanted to take that out of my life. That thought of electric kit, or I've got to borrow one, or it's a piece of shit, on a rack, and I look like a fucking elephant playing on a toy kit, that sort of thing. But
I hear you.
Anyway, well, let's wrap up, boy.
Let's wrap up,
boy. What's the sort of healing on your armpit then? What's just got to rest, or?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. They seem quite vague about everything. I had to ask a lot of questions. I said, when do I take this off? He's like, tomorrow. And then they give me some dressing to reapply
Tell
myself.
me exactly what to do.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm
and
not
I think
a doctor.
I'll put on some more dressing today, and then I assume just take that off, and then I don't know. Let's see how it looks, but it stings, but it's all right. I'm not surprised it stings. I've had someone fucking get a fucking pussy thing at my arm. At one point it felt like he was pulling something out, and I was expecting him to be like, "Oh, we found a spider" or something. Do you know what I mean? Like I thought he'd find like
something nested in there.
Yeah, I thought he'd found like I don't know, something had bit me, and then
a mini egg. Or something.
Yeah. It genuine, like for a while it just felt like he was pressing down, and at one point it felt like he was pulling something, and I was expecting him to be like, "Oh, there it is." But he didn't, so I don't know what the hell he pulled out though. But
you don't want to become viral because they pulled something weird at you.
No,
I saw a video and it was like America, and then like this woman's like, "There's something, something came out of my arsehole." And the doctors are like, "Well, okay," and I go in there, fucking huge worm.
Yeah,
and it like she's got to the toilet and it like come out.
Wow.
And was like going, "Hello," and waving around, and she was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
And she went to hospital. Big old worm out of her ass. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much for listening. Bye, George.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.